Good afternoon. Welcome to Cool Talk. Welcome back, and hope you've enjoyed the episode you've listened to. And we are happy to have today Michael Rocco with Atlantic Bay Mortgage. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
This is probably from what we had some realtors on a couple weeks ago, and everybody's saying it's a time to sell. It's hard to buy because there's nothing on the market, but luckily, I'm glad I brought you in right after because what are some things Atlantic Bay Mortgage? What is your role at Atlantic Bay Mortgage, and what do y'all do?
Yeah, so I am the branch manager of the Lynchburg location of Atlantic Bay Mortgage. We do residential home loans, so anything primary residence investment property that people are going to live in. We don't do commercial. That's the big question. We don't do commercial properties at Atlantic Bay, but anything residential up to 4 units, that's where we specialize, refinances, purchase, those types of things. So we're located in Cornerstone, right off Greenview Drive, right on the corner there. Across from the new Mellow Mushroom is a little, it's a good spot to be, but everything's been good this year. Business has been really good and busy. But yeah, that's my role with Atlantic Bay.
Yeah, and usually, like I guess up till probably 6 months ago, if you were going to buy a house, you almost felt like you had all the time in the world to just get qualified, look for a house. And now that the market is so good and the quantity of houses is so low, what is there some suggestions you give people if you're looking now or you're looking later? Is there some tips you can give people to be ready because things aren't waiting on them?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, first, I would say that it is a great time to buy, even with such low inventory, just because interest rates are so low. So, borrowing with a low interest rate over a fixed period of time is always a great thing. So that would be kind of my one encouragement is even with low inventory, homes sale prices rising, it's still a great time to buy and invest in the market just because of interest rates being so low. A couple keys or coaching points for people out there that are interested. I would say first, make sure you are qualified because whenever that perfect home does come on the market for you, usually if it's a perfect home for you, it's probably going to be a good home for somebody else as well. And in this market with, like we said, such low inventory, you want to be ready to make that move. So contacting me or anybody on my team that can get you qualified. And a big part of that is not just getting pre-qualified, but pre-approved. So having an underwriter kind of review your documentation and make sure that everything checks out really well so that your offer is a competitive one and there's nothing that's going to be a red flag down the line. So all of that is taken into consideration and just making sure that you have all your ducks in a row whenever that time comes.
Awesome. And that brings me into asking, so what should people expect to be prepared? What do they need to bring you so that it doesn't hold the process up? If they're looking to buy pretty soon, there's got to be some things you say, hey, let's have this in order to bring to me so it's smoother.
For sure. Yeah. So I would say the main kind of income documentations are your pay stubs, W-2s, and tax returns, and then bank statements for financial documentation. So those are things that the underwriter would want to review and just make sure everything checks out. You have kind of, like we said, all of your ducks in a row and get all those question answers up front so that there are no questions as we go through the process down the line.
Okay. And if, let's say a married couple maybe don't want to buy till next year and they're worried, sometimes the interest rate is based on your credit score, correct? So
Correct.
Are there things that you may give advice to on, is there things people can do to help their credit before they come to you?
For sure. And I think that's one of the good things about Atlantic Bay is we're not just taking good credit people and throwing the bad ones away. We actually have a process and a program for if your credit is a little bit below qualifying standards or you want to get to another credit bracket. We have programs that can tell you exactly what you need to do to get there and kind of coach you through that. We don't claim to be credit experts. We've been in the mortgage business and that's what we are professionals in, but we also have those tools that we use and people we also have in our back pocket to help us out in coaching, our clients to get to where they need to be in order to purchase a home.
Awesome. And then most home purchases, you're going to need to prepare to put down maybe a certain percentage, correct? Or is it some loans you don't, some loans you do?
Yeah, we offer a variety of loan programs. The four most common ones are a USDA loan, which does not require a down payment. That's specified for, they say, rural locations, so anything outside of really the city of Lynchburg locally. And then there's conventional loans, which requires at least 3% down for first-time home buyers. And then FHA is a 3.5% down, and VA requires no down payment. That's for veterans loans.
So those veterans, and y'all handle all these.
Yeah, so we do all of those loans in-house. We have underwriting in-house, so we don't have to send anything out. We don't have a broker model. We are a lender. We're basically like a bank in ourselves. So we fund with our own money. We underwrite, we close, and everything in-house.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's definitely a big thing. So you don't have to go through several different places and worry about the money and close and different things. You can do it all one stop.
For sure.
Shop. Yep. And then is it a big difference between fixed rate and adjustable rate, or is it one better than the other? Some people don't get educated enough to know the difference or what they should look for.
That's a good question. I think that there is a time and place for adjustable rate. Right now, with interest rates being so low, usually when people choose an adjustable rate mortgage, it's because there's a low fixed interest rate for a short period of time, and then it'll adjust. But we're not seeing a huge difference in the rates for fixed mortgages right now or adjustable rate. So it's making more sense for people just to go on a fixed rate mortgage for a long period of time, and to avoid the adjustment. So what we recommend most times with interest rates so low is just to take that fixed rate as long as you can, and avoid the adjustment.
Yeah, then and I know interest rates can change daily. So I think how can you lock in an interest rate for so long? Let's say you need to look and you may not find a house for a month, but I guess can you lock it in for a certain amount of time?
Yeah, so really you need a property address in order to lock in. So it depends on like, for example, if somebody finds a house but they're not going to close for 60 days, you would take that into consideration when locking in interest rate. So basically, every 15-day increment, we can lock in for. So 15, 30, 45, 60, up to 90 days on just our normal locks. And then if you wanted a long-term lock, let's say that you're, you found a home, but you're not purchasing it for 3 months or so, or outside of 3 months, you would, look into a long-term lock, which is a little bit more expensive to do that. So it's just kind of a matter of willing to wait till that term comes to 30 days or so, or locking in long term, just kind of weighing the positives and negatives of it.
Awesome. And then on closing costs, can most loans incorporate that into the loan, or do you need to prepare to maybe, I know you got to do a down payment, should you also prepare to pay closing costs as well?
That's a good question. So some loan programs do allow for a certain percentage of closing costs to be covered in the loan. A lot of times that's some first time home buyer loans. Most loan programs do not allow for closing costs to be financed into the loan. So a lot of times what people are doing is negotiating for the seller to pay a portion, if not all, of the closing costs, and just raising the sales price accordingly. Right now, with the market being so competitive, a lot of times it's hard to get closing costs. So I would say if you are a buyer, to at least think about saving some money for potentially closing costs, if not a portion, but all of them. Or like I said, a technique is to just raise your offer price to accommodate those closing costs.
And then, that's buying new homes, but you also do refinancing.
Correct.
There's different type of refinancing loans. Or when's a good time for somebody to refinance if they're not looking to actually buy a house, but just when interest drops, or is there certain things you look for?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about kind of the money that it costs up front and how much you're going to save over the long period. So basically, we would just do an analysis of where you're currently at in your interest rate, how much it would be saving you initially, and then how much it costs in closing costs and how long it would take to make up that difference. So if somebody's planning to be in their house for the long term, if you can drop your interest rate a point or so, I would say that it makes sense to do that, because you'll make it up and then you'll be paying less interest over the life of the loan. So it's just kind of case by case basis. But with interest rates being so low, I would recommend anybody that has an interest rate probably higher than 4% or so to look into refinancing. It's definitely a good time.
Anybody that's bought 3 years ago or more.
Yeah,
about when it started to drop.
Exactly. Yeah, so the market kind of dropped about 3 years ago. or so around then. So yeah, if you purchased a significant amount of time a few years ago, I would say if you haven't looked into refinancing, just to get a quote, it's no
Does it
harm.
hurt their credit getting quotes like that or looking into it? Or
So we can do what's called a soft pull on a credit, so it doesn't reflect as a direct inquiry, so it wouldn't affect your credit. Obviously, if you decide to move forward, we would do full mortgage credit pull, which again doesn't hurt your credit very much at all. It's really only if you get a lot of hits in a short period of time when it really starts to affect your credit. But so we could just do the initial consult with a soft pull and then kind of work from there and see if it makes sense to do that.
and then do you do cash out refinance as well? Someone wants to remodel or update their home. That's
Yeah.
a good time to do a cash out, but it's but of course the cash out's all still based on percentages of
Exactly.
between what's left on the loan and what it's valued at. Or?
Yep. So basically, the general rule is 80% or 20% equity or 80% loan to value. Meaning, let's say your house appraises for $400,000, you can do a loan up to 320. So that's 20% equity in your house. So the difference would be paying off your loan and the closing costs, and then you'd get the cash back for whatever the difference is. So yeah, it's a great option right now. People are using it to, like you said, do upgrades on their house and still get a low fixed interest rate. They're also using it to pay off debt, credit cards, high interest rate loans, those types of things that, using your house as an asset to borrow against in order to pay off those things is definitely a great option with interest rates being so low.
And then in refinancing, usually you can there's no down payment, just closing costs, and you can just usually have the option of paying them out of pocket or.
Yeah. So most people, just again with interest rates so low, are holding their money in their bank account and just putting that towards the loan. So rolling the closing costs into the loan. Most loan programs allow for that to happen, especially if you have enough equity. So yeah basically people can lower their costs, save money, have no money out of their pocket. It's pretty much a win-win-win for all those situations. So it's a lot right now with interest rates being so low. It's a good time to look into it.
Awesome. So all right. So give us your. That's a lot of good info. I hope everybody can take it all in. But if not, what's some good ways to contact you in your office? How many's in your office? Do you have that can contact if you're not available? Like what's some numbers they can call, email, website?
I'm still producing as a branch manager, so I can definitely be available at any time. I mean, I give out my cell phone number. My direct contact is 434-944-0430, and that's my direct number. And then also you can reach me via email at just my first and last name, Michael Rocco at atlanticbay.com. And then my website is as well, roccomortgages.com. So all of those ways are ways to reach out or to just look into more information. Also fill out an application if you want to do that.
And they can do that online. Without having to meet.
Exactly.
They can fill it, and you can call them and say, this is what we need to finish it up without even having to face-to-face.
Yeah, and through this COVID period, I mean, it's been a good thing to have all these resources, especially the online stuff, because there'll be times that people don't want to meet face-to-face or they do want to meet face-to-face. So you have the options for them to be able to fill out those things, do application online, and it's a pretty seamless experience if you do everything online. We have obviously email, online applications, stuff like that can be done all virtually. And then also, I mean, our office is continuing to grow. We have now 3 licensed loan officers in our office and a couple assistants. So, we're continuing to grow, and it's a good time to be in the market for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Hope this helped everybody. Great information. Thanks for coming in today, Rocco.
No problem.
Anything else I'm missing y'all do or looking for? Or I know the market's hot right now, so if now's the time to call, get pre-qualified, get that letter so you know exactly what house you can buy.
Exactly. It's never a bad time to just see what you qualify for. I would always say, with interest rates so low, getting into the market, seeing what you qualify for, and then making an educated decision after that. But a lot of people are guessing right now, it's a good time to get in the market. Is it not? Talking to an expert that has, just wants to help you out, just wants to, provide you the best options possible, and has a lot of good programs available as far as first-time homebuyer loans, all those different things. So no strings attached to reach out and do an initial consultation, and we'll go from there.
And once you get your qualified letter, at least
Yep.
with amount. How long is that good for normally?
Yeah, so it's usually
meant to
good
ask.
for as long as the credit report lasts, and for most loan programs, it's about 90 days.
Okay.
Some are 120 days, but usually I say, this letter lasts for about 90 days, and then after that, we'll want to kind of reassess or see
Reassess. If nothing's
exactly.
changed, it usually still be in the same spinning
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, it's usually the same rough, quality of work, and
Unless something major happens on the credit.
exactly.
90
So
days.
that's really all we're checking again is credit, and if anything job
Just
status.
don't buy a new car or something in that 90 days if you're looking for a house.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, no boats or new loans.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the major thing we're looking at is just credit, and then if job status has changed.
Awesome. Well, y'all find Mike Rocco, Atlantic Bay Mortgage. Him or anybody on his team has been great to work with. They will definitely assist getting you the best loan for your need and get you in a new house.
Yes,
So
sir.
thanks for coming in, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
And I hope everybody got some good knowledge out of this. And if you need anything, find Rocco, and he's right here in Lynchburg and serve you anywhere in Virginia, correct?
For sure. Licensed in the state of Virginia.
Awesome. So thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next one.